Yeah, and there are some questions for you.
Yeah.
First question, what I wanted to know is how drones can be used in a war-like situation. How our 30 years war has used drones, if you have any information regarding that.
Yeah. This is military information basically, but I can share with you some.
Yeah.
That is, in the wartime, one of the major problems the military was having is coordination.
Yeah.
It's all about coordination and information, right? Winning a war. It's very much on the coordination. You need to know, Air Force need to know what the Army is doing, right? And Navy needs to know what the Air Force is doing.
Yeah.
So drones were deployed to make that coordination. It's a complicated process. So drones are made to make this coordination between different military segments, Army and Air Force, Navy and Air Force, and things like that. So therefore, the whole three forces were in sync all the time. This synergy, so this synergy, 1 + 1 + 1 was made 5 during the wartime.
Right.
Using not only drones, but drones was playing a major part. The other thing is that using drones, everything was visible to everybody. Everybody, in the sense the political leadership of the country, and also the other leaders of the different countries who were keeping an eye on what's happening on here. The correct ground truth was captured by drones and communicated to respective people, so that some people didn't intervene at the end of the war, right? Making false accusation on Sri Lanka, because they saw everything what is happening on the ground. So yeah, so those are the few things.
Okay. I also was fortunate to see actual drone deployment in Israel during the wartime, and there were a lot of initiatives were going on during the war as to how Sri Lankan forces can effectively use drones for their advantage. And
Dr. Lalit, if Professor can unshare the screen, and if you come both pictures to the screen, it's better.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Okay. So we have about 7-8 questions. The first question, Professor, is how drones can be used. How about the stability during heavy weather conditions?
Yes. Now, for example, when you have high winds, drones cannot fly because drones are small, low inertia vehicles. So therefore, like for example, if you have a drone like 4.5 kilograms in weight, 4.5 kilograms in weight, and it flies like 12 meters per second, right? It can handle a wind like about 20 kilometers an hour. 20 kilometers an hour. But if the wind comes like 35 kilometers an hour, right, the drone will not be able to fly, especially against the wind. It will keep in the same position. So about a week ago, we were flying one of our drones. I didn't show it here. Aerial surveying drone, which is of the same similar weight, like 4 kilograms. It was very windy up there, and drone was not moving at all. It was keeping the position. So and sometimes it rolls back and forth. That's not good. So we abort the mission and eject the parachute and got it down. And the same thing happened when we were flying in Aranayaka landslide. It was we were flying around 600 meters, and on the ground it was mild wind, but when it goes up there, it was very strong wind. So it was so strong that when the drone goes like that against the wind, when it takes the turn, it shows the entire belly against the wind, right? Wind is coming from this direction, right? And then it rolls back. So we were able to capture only half of the landslide, right? And the drone became unstable, and again we put the parachute on and recover the drone. So we recover the drone, and the images you saw in the presentation, the same images. No harm done, but took some time for us to recover the drone because we had to climb up the mountain to some distance. So yes, extreme weather conditions, unless you design for that, the flying in rain, mild rain, drizzle and all that is possible, right? You just want to make sure things are watertight. But wind is the problem. Strong wind, drones cannot handle.
Okay, so it is understood, Professor. Even flights have concerns when the bad weather is there, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
even flights don't fly. So
Yeah, of course, yes.
yeah. So understood. Thank you. And then next question is, what application will take major share of the drones in future Sri Lanka and in the world?
Yeah. Already aerial surveying is about 35% of the entire application domain, aerial surveying. It will continue to be the #1 drone application in the world. But what is fast catching up is the agriculture, the precision agriculture using drones, right? Then the other ones are like, photography, cinematography, news media coverage, wedding coverage. A lot of people are using drones, right? So that part is anyway will grow to some extent. And then comes the package delivery. Drones, pizza delivery or medical supplies delivery, or any other urgent items. The online supermarket chains will have the drone delivery option in the future, so that you can choose how you want the pizza to be delivered, by the pizza delivery boy, motorcycle, or the drone. Yeah, you can have that option.
Professor, how would you compare the cost, Uber Eats and as you said, car, motorbike, or three-wheeler and drone delivery?
Yeah, so I did this calculation some time back. If you use a drone delivery, the running cost is like, you remember this 50cc motorcycle, Chappy or Chally or something, Chally, no? Sometime back. So something similar to running a Chally motorcycle. So that is the running cost if you use a drone to deliver small packages.
Okay.
And of course, there's no rider. It is not a 150cc motorcycle. It is like a 50cc motorcycle. So it's cheaper.
And this will be faster, right? Because no traffic.
Oh yeah, of course, of course, yes. It goes straight line, no bends, nothing.
Okay. And remember, I told at the beginning, the Civil Aviation Authority is looking for the drone capacity in Sri Lanka. I think you may have had a chat with them, and which means the government has big plans for the future, right? To use drones in Sri Lanka.
Yeah. So I am a member of that committee to evaluate drones, and what we do there is that, first of all, not to take our local drones to the forefront, right? And drones from the reputed manufacturers like DJI, for example, or any other drone, imported ones, and check who is able to deploy drones quickly for a certain application. But what we haven't heard yet is that who wants drone for COVID? Who wants drone for COVID? So that information is not actually coming to the Civil Aviation Authority yet. Maybe law enforcement, maybe medical staff, right? Maybe, whoever. There should be some communication between Civil Aviation Authority and those people to figure out what is the requirement. So we can imagine, I can see 100 plus application for COVID, but we can't do it that way. We need to communicate with the medical people, the law enforcement people, and figure out what exactly is their drone deployment, from where to where, what is the payload like, right? So that is what is missing right now.
Okay. And then with this social distancing, it could be mostly health, right? Health application.
Yes.
Exactly. And also, Israel is one of the countries which uses technology for their agriculture mainly. I mean, one of the most developed countries, the technology-based agriculture. So I have seen drones are extensively used for the agriculture development in Israel. Next question is, what could be the applications of agriculture domain? Any advantage? I think you have comprehensively covered. Anything more to add?
No, I explained almost everything. If you want me to reiterate on some of the highlights.
What would be the applications of agriculture domain and any advantages?
Yes. So if you use the drone technology for our agriculture, you can cut down your expenses in terms of chemicals by about 45%. The survey has already been done. You can cut down the chemical cost by about 45%. And then the connected advantages, the pollution on the ground, the soil, and the water, and also exposure to humans. So all these things will be added benefits. And on the other side of the story is the yield. You can increase your yield by maybe twofold, threefold, like that, because you are monitoring your crop field closely. And at the end of the season, if it is paddy, at the end of the season, you will have not more than few percent of unhealthy plants. All the plants are pretty good plants, so they will produce the seeds. So there is multiple benefits in using drone technology for agriculture. Because other thing is, it is very, very safe to deploy drones in big lands. Even though the drone goes down, nobody's hurt, right? It is basically a land. So without a lot of sophistication, you can deploy the drones with safety and security for people, and you can increase your yield and cut down the costs. Huge benefit for agriculture countries.
Okay. Actually, I lost power in my home twice during your presentation. So I lost good 10 to 15 minutes twice.
Oh, really?
There are CB guys in with me in this chat. So and I saw Rohan Senuran was also there, who is the DGM. You guys to make our power availability 100%. So luckily I was able to come back to finish this session. The next question is, Professor, what are the main barriers to utilize the drone technology for the betterment of the mankind with appropriate legal setup?
Yeah, so this is the debate right now we are having at the Civil Aviation Authority and also in many other countries, how to share the airspace. Now, this is a new member coming into the airspace, and the Air Force Civil Aviation Authority, it is very natural. I can share with this professional team. They don't like it, right? Generally, right? Because it's an additional responsibility on them, additional risk, right? And these are small drones, right? And they don't know the potential of this technology in the first place. So therefore, their natural first reaction is no. And it is difficult, not only Sri Lanka, in every other country, right? You can see the same thing happening. So that is why it takes time for Civil Aviation Authority and also the Air Force to welcome this new member to the airspace. So it is happening now, but very organically. It will take some time. But luckily, I met the new chairman and the DG at Civil Aviation Authority a couple of times. We are working in that same committee. They want to do this. So their energy, intention, I saw very clearly. So therefore,
Army General, no? Major General.
Yeah.
Actually, Civil Aviation Authority is this guy, no? The former Temia.
Temia is the DG.
He's DG.
Yeah. And the chairman is, I forgot his name. Yeah.
He's a Major General, I think, no?
General, yes. And also, other than that, we have the Air Commodore Dilshan Vasage, my very good friend. Yeah. So I think you remember him at the CRB.
I know Dilshan very well.
So therefore, it's a good combination now, I think. Yeah.
Okay, next question is, what are the main factors to consider in drone development when developing for closed environments? Example, drone racing or greenhouse.
Yeah. So you need to have a separate technology for localization, indoor applications. Like we are working on a warehouse inventorying drone nowadays as a final year project. Obviously, you can't use GPS indoor. You don't have the signal
Yeah.
connectivity, and also you can't use solid state magnetometers indoor because there are huge metal structures, right? So you need to look at that. It's a technical challenge to fuse the sensors, different sensors together to make sure your decisions are correct. So what we do for this warehouse indoor navigation drone, you can take warehouses or greenhouses, doesn't matter, right? It's the same problem. Localization navigation, fundamentally, that is the problem you have to solve. So what we do is we were vision based. So there are Aruko markers. Maybe some of you guys have heard of it. Thousands of Aruko markers, unique Aruko markers. You can place different locations in the warehouse or the greenhouse, and when the drone sees that marker, it knows the location. And also, drone can localize the distance using triangulation. That way, you can localize the drone indoor. And also there are some other sensor fusion technologies that will give you the heading, right? Vision, you can use the vision for heading because the markers, they have direction, right? X, Y, and XY basically. So when you see the marker, when the drone see the marker using its camera, it knows the direction. So you can do it indoor navigation using that. Actually, we have done this already for COVID to navigate a robot indoor. Maybe you have seen these hospitals where these robots were introduced using magnetic lines on the floor, remember? So the robot follows the magnetic line. So the magnetic line is about few 100,000 rupees, and sensor system is also expensive. So it doesn't come at a low cost. But what we did was we used the markers, just print out and attach to the ceiling. No magnetic markers, anything. It is ceiling attached set of Aruko markers, and the robot use a small camera, Raspberry Pi camera, 3,000 rupees, I think. And it was able to navigate precisely.
So you save a lot of money.
Yeah.
On that.
Nearly 500,000 rupees. Yeah.
So the next question is, what are the instances where the drone technology is used in a commercial scale in the South Asian region? What kind of incentives have been given by the government to the development of the sector in Sri Lanka? Same question.
Yeah, as to the best of my knowledge, there hasn't been any incentive or anything from the government so far. But the present government, I think, look at it a very different angle. So things will fall in line. But so far, not only for drones, for any other sector, I don't think there was an incentive in a sustainable manner. So therefore, all the developers in Sri Lanka, drone or otherwise, they had to compete with the big players in the fields. So it's impossible, right? So that is why at the early stage of development of local technologies, the government has to back up their inventors and people who want to commercialize technologies, because simply they can't compete. So if I make a drone, no matter how good the drone is in terms of performance, I cannot get the appearance similar to what the DJI can do in China, using their huge manufacturing plants, machinery to the precision. But my drone and the Chinese drone will have the same endurance. So my one have a better accuracy in landing. But if you look at my drone and Chinese drone side by side, right, my one doesn't look as good as the Chinese one because I don't have the machinery to develop it here, manufacture it here. I don't have the raw materials. I don't have the local supplies to purchase items. that China can do in their locality. So
Right.
there are fundamental disadvantages for me being a manufacturer here.
Okay. So
So
can you give you a royalty rights to a Chinese company and get it produced mass scale kind of thing?
yeah, these things are possible, but what they do is they look at all the other inventions around the world. They purchase one or two drones and then they cut open it and do the reverse engineering. So they are very capable of doing that. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, hardly they go to a like a partnership or licensing in of someone else's technology, especially from the third world countries. If it comes from the Western world, if the size is big, there's a reputation, there's patents and other intellectual property assets, then they will negotiate a deal. But for
Mm-hmm.
small inventors, uh, absolutely no chance. Yes.
Uh-huh. Can you identify a world leader in this industry, or I mean, who is dominating Europe, North America, or Asia?
It's like this. When it comes to manufacturing, of course, it is China. All the drones that people are using, even in Sri Lanka, more than 60% of the drones are Chinese drones, and
Okay.
particularly from one big company, DJI. It's a very smart company. Uh,
Okay.
all the other drones amount
Uh-huh.
to about 30, 35 watt, maximum 40%.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and there also the Chinese manufacturers, they do everything except one thing, that is the flight controller,
Uh-huh.
right? So flight controller, they purchase parts from US,
Okay.
parts from US. So that is
Okay.
why this US China tussle, when it went up to the peak, US deny the service to China. So that is
Uh,
one of the reasons for them to discontinue this Phantom drone,
uh-huh.
which was a very big hit. And then what they did was, they were also very smart. They put the Mavic Pro to substitute for Phantom.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Understood. Next question is, can vector-based methods be used to return home in the case of GPS failure using last known coordinates?
yes and no. Yes and no. It depends. This is what is called dead reckoning, right? The technology used by the naval navigation long time ago. Even now they're
Yeah.
using dead reckoning. On a lucky day, you come home, but there's no
Right.
guarantee. Yeah, there's only so much you can predict when you return home, right? Through dead reckoning.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
cannot guarantee. Yeah, but
Okay.
that is the last option when if GPS fails.
Okay.
Uh,
Have you lost any of your drones failing to come back
no,
in
no.
no? Okay. Right.
I lost so far, right? Now it is how many years? Like about 15 years of
Right.
drone deployment. None of the drones flew away from me, right?
Okay.
So everything was under my control.
Right.
But we did some human errors in mission planning,
Right.
and I lost two drones.
Okay.
Um,
How
as,
many drones you may have already done?
we have about 15 different drones,
Okay.
15 different drones.
Right.
But most of these drones we have flown about 50 times, 60 times, 70 times, like that. We are
Okay.
using it
Right.
uh, long,
Right.
like lifetime. Some of the drones we started flying in 2009, 10. We are still
Yeah.
flying,
I
still
can remember.
flying. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the last question so far in the chat box is, will there be a system similar to air traffic control, the increasing number of drones?
I have proposed this to the Civil Aviation Authority. This is
Yeah.
the only way we can get the drones to coexist with the choppers and low-flying Cessnas and Air Force planes.
Right.
That is the only way. Coordination and communication, right? You can't just let drones to fly all over the place and
Yeah.
wreak havoc, right? So the Air Force radars, they know where their planes are, right? And what they don't know is where the drones are. So what we have to do is, I have communicated this to the Civil Aviation Authority 2 years back, and again I reiterate that we need to have this system. I named it drone monitoring system. Drone monitoring system, right? And I gave them the designs, everything, right? And I said, okay, I will do it at Moratoa with my students, right? So it is only recently that we got it going with the COVID-19, thanks to COVID-19, and thanks to the new administration at Civil Aviation Authority. So now we are doing it with Mobitel. So it is just a small device, like a size of a matchbox. You put it on the drone. So when the drone takes off about maybe 10-15 meters, it will start sending its position to the Civil Aviation Authority server.
Yeah.
So there, Civil Aviation Authority knows all drones in the airspace.
Yeah.
Right. So then you can communicate that to the Air Force or anybody else, so that they know where the drones are. So there's no problem. The problem is not the drones in the airspace, but not knowing where they are, the altitude and the location.
Right. It's like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I think there were no other questions in the chat box, and it was great. It was a great webinar, Professor, to be very honest, very interesting, and we learned a lot of things about drone technology, and it's actually a revolution during the after the COVID.
Yeah.
So yeah, many things are suggested, especially health and agriculture sector, as you correctly said. So I'm very grateful once again. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation and delivering this speech, and hope your dreams in drone technology will be realized with this new technology supporting government, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, with the Civil Aviation Authority and other organizations.
Yeah. I'm hopeful more than ever before.
Yeah,
that this will move forward. The present
I also guess. Yeah, so that's why I thought of this topic. This is timely. I'm very sure. So I thank all the audience for joining us. You are a great audience, and thanks for the questions. And we'll see you next month with another webinar. And once again, actually Professor Rohan is one of our main contributor for annual technical conference, being a paper reviewer. Every year we get your services. Thank you very much for that as well. And I very respectfully invite you to join IET.
I will. Send me an application.
I will
I
email
can do
you
it
our
online.
application.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Professor, and thank you very much, everyone. So
thank you for having me.
Have a
I
nice
enjoyed
evening.
a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, and have a nice weekend.
Yeah. Have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.